Hey everyone, What If Fan here, bringing you another exciting part of What If becoming a mangaka in One Piece world. You can find the fanfic title and the original author's name on my Patreon page. Make sure to check it out and show them some love. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Also check out my Patreon channel for early releases of all the series, where you can find all the series released one day ahead of YouTube. Alright, let's jump into it. Chapter 451, Golden Lion Shiki Saga, Strong World Arc. Part 2. 2 days ago, in the drawing room of an art store in Ohara, Rob was deep in thought about how to seamlessly incorporate a movie into his manga storyline without altering its essence or facing the wrath of the Divine Network. Rob had come to understand the gravity of his task. Delivering a completed story as per the survey's requirements was a matter of life and death. However, Rob knew that finishing the story was not a license to do as he pleased. He had to ensure that the plot had no inconsistencies or loopholes, and the story's essence remained unchanged. To add the movie's story to his manga and give it a natural flow, Rob had to adhere to certain guidelines. Rob realized that directly inserting the movie into the current events of the story would cause inconsistency. He brainstormed solutions and concluded that a prequel would be a suitable starting point to segue into the movie storyline. He weighed the pros and cons of using the Little East Blue Arc or Chapter 0, both of which had their advantages. Initially, Rob considered using both in the current context of events. However, upon careful reflection, he realized that this approach would add little value and might even bore readers. Eventually, he settled on Chapter 0, which contained Ed's war and Shiki's battle against Sengoku and Garp. Chapter 0 is too good to waste, and readers will love the wonderful flashback, Rob thought, smiling to himself. He reached for his pens, and with his devil fruit ability, began bringing his fantasy to life on paper. Drawing manga was Rob's addiction, and he savored it as much as having sex with women. Although what he really painted was not his own creation, but owned by Oda and his company, but this did not prevent him from enjoying it and leaving his own mark, from coloring to adding some creative effects that give life to the story. At this point, it was not challenging for Rob to create his own manga, even if it was a genre he had not encountered before. Although he had become an accomplished manga artist, the task assigned to him demanded that he continue drawing One Piece. Any other projects he may have previously started or was currently working on were solely personal choices. In any case, Rob relished sharing his favorite stories with others. Alright, let's wrap this up quickly. Oh, have you come to see me already, my darling children? Rob beamed as he spotted his two little spies peeking in through the door. Yamato and Robin's tiny heads emerged from the doorway, their eyes wide as they watched their father work. The New World. Returning to the present, Oro Jackson sailed under a strangely sunny and calm sky while Roger's pirates enjoyed the summery atmosphere on deck. Roger was sunbathing with his wife Rouge, while the other crew members were scattered around the deck. However, the mood quickly changed with the appearance of the new One Piece volume, and each member of the crew adjusted their sitting position to see its contents. It's a flashback. It's very close to the current time period. Look, our crew members look a lot like their current selves, Rayleigh exclaimed with amazement as he described the scenes from the manga. For God's sake! Why am I so afraid of Shiki? Buggy was outraged to see his cowardly act in the manga where he asked his captain to surrender to the enemy. Isn't this just a complete farce? What the hell is the size of this fleet? This is an unequal battle. Shiki's fleet was so large that even Buggy regarded him nervously and couldn't help but understand why his version in the manga was portrayed as cowardly. Wahahaha. Doesn't this scene remind you guys of something? Roger wondered aloud. The Larvas Archipelago battle, Rayleigh replied with a smile. Ha ha ha. The expression on Shiki's unforgettable face that day will be repeated again in the manga. Just watch, Roger laughed again. This guy. What weapon is he talking about? Could it be that he means Poseidon? After all, the only apocalyptic weapon that we discovered on our journey is Poseidon. Where did he learn about it? Roger felt his heart sinking as he read Golden Lion's words. What's the perfect plan he's talking about, too? Gabon made his comment this time. He wants to conquer the entire world and wants you, dear, to be his right-hand man. This man is crazy, Rouge said with a chuckle. Wow, dear. You look so handsome in the manga. Your appearance this time will undoubtedly terrify the world government and make the world really understand who the Pirate King Gold Roger is. Seeing how excited his wife was, Roger couldn't hold back his laugh. Wahahaha. One Piece events. Golden Lion, I refuse your offer, declared Roger firmly. Don't do it, Captain, urged Buggy, still hoping to convince his leader to accept Shiki's request. In his eyes, refusing at that moment was equal to death. Don't you realize how many ships we're up against, he added. Rayleigh grabbed Buggy, who could no longer contain himself, and said, move. In other words, your answer is, kill me right here and now. Isn't it, exclaimed Shiki. No, it's I'm going to crush every last one of you, replied Roger. As soon as he spoke, the war began with a cannon shot from Roger's ship, which destroyed one of the Golden Lion fleet's vessels. At that moment, the narrator began to speak. The man known as the chief of the Great Pirate Armada, Golden Lion Shiki, and the future Pirate King, Gold Roger, clashed. The guns continued to shell from both sides. This fight came to be called the Great Battle of Edwar. Despite many assuming Roger's ship would be completely obliterated, it was spared by a sudden change of weather, the narrator continued. In the end, half of Shiki's fleet sank into the sea. Furthermore, an unfortunate accident befell Shiki, forcing him to flee the battlefield and tend to his injuries. Roger, Rouge, Rayleigh, the rest of the crew. Roger, Rouge, and Rayleigh burst out laughing, tears streaming down their faces. The rest of the crew joined in, filling the air with uproarious laughter. Ha 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 ha. Wah ha 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 ha. Roger exclaimed. Rouge, Rayleigh, Gabon, Shanks, Buggy, and the other crew members laughed so hard they could barely catch their breath. Ha 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 ha. Bah ha 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 ha. Ah ha ha ha, they all chuckled. Shiki is so unlucky. Roger managed to say between fits of laughter. I can't stop laughing. He's got the steering wheel stuck in his head here too, he added, gasping for air. Unable to contain his amusement, Roger immediately opened the global forum and posted a tweet that consisted solely of a very long laugh. Even as he read the next scene, he still wanted to laugh. This battle and its ending were so hilarious. Shiki's luck was like shit. Gabon exclaimed. Ha 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 ha. Okay, let's continue reading, Roger said, trying to compose himself. It looks like Shiki has developed dementia because of this incident, Rayleigh added, laughing. Maragoa. In the vast hall where all the Gorosei rest, the rulers of the world were discussing the recent events. This is... Ha ha ha. That's quite amusing. This man's luck is unbelievable. What a shame, I have never witnessed a great pirate suffer such significant losses due to the ever-changing weather. Well, the Ed Sea is not an ideal location for a sea battle. Is Shiki an idiot? I had anticipated that our navy would intervene like it be in the Larvas Archipelago battle, but it appears unnecessary, the bald Gorosei sneered contemptuously as he observed the outcome of the battle between Roger and the Shiki's fleet. Chapter 452, Shiki's attack on Marineford for Roger. Grand Line, Paradise. The guild ship sailed smoothly through the turbulent sea, 10 kilometers from the coast of the island of Jaya, which Brindy World used as an access point from Hunter's Island in the New World. Although the destination of the ship was unknown, it was evident that it was heading south towards the Calm Belt area, also known as the Nest of Sea Kings. On the deck, Brindy World's huge body lay relaxed as he turned the pages of the new volume of manga One Piece. Bararararo. It's the Golden Lion and Roger. I feel nostalgic. How many years ago were I have frozen away from the battlefield? In that time even the Golden Lion was afraid of me, he laughed heartily while enjoying the events of the first chapters. Unaware of his amusement, a strange door made of glass appeared several meters above the ship, allowing those behind it to observe the situation outside. Amazing! As expected from the door fruit.
A fool like Blueno couldn't realize its true value.
It's just cheating, Kizaru praised the Doorfruit's ability, while the agent with the bear mask ignored him.
The sea is turbulent.
It's better to take 3 Den Den Moshi of communication jamming to confuse him, so he doesn't succeed in calling for reinforcements.
Try to provoke him so that he fights you alone.
Maybe he doesn't know anything about you guys since he's been frozen for a long time, the agent with the white tiger mask advised calmly. The likes of you won't teach us, admirals, how to succeed in a mission. Stick to your limits, you bastard, Akainu replied harshly.
Open this damn door right now, we'll be back quickly. Akainu's discomfort increased, as he wanted to finish the task.
For Akiji, Kizaru, and the 2 agents, it appeared that Akainu had become more like his ruthless character in the future. However, they didn't know that he was in a hurry to read the new volume as soon as possible.
Brindy World burst into laughter, Barararo, as he witnessed Shiki's reaction to seeing himself in the mirror.
While Shiki thought he looked like a lion, the addition of the steering wheel made him resemble a chicken. This scene had not only amused Brindy World but people all around the world who were familiar with Shiki, including Kaido, Linlin, Stussy, Newgate, Garp, Sengoku, Roger, Rayleigh, and many others. However, Brindy World's laughter abruptly ended as he sensed 3 terrifying auras descending upon his ship. Without hesitation, he used his Devil Fruit ability to enhance his defense by 10 times, and a deafening boom echoed throughout the area. Thanks to his sharp instincts, Brindy World narrowly avoided a deadly attack that consisted of a kick of pure light to his lower left waist, an icy sword aimed at his neck, and a searing lava punch to his chest. Even with his boosted defense, he could only vomit blood, arg. Gasping for breath, Brindy World realized that he was under attack by the Navy, who were relentless in their pursuit of those who opposed them. He raged, "What the hell? How could I forget that we are in a world war against the world government? Those Navy bastards. I'll kill them." But it was too late. The Navy had already caused extensive damage to his ship, and Akainu's contemptuous remark only served to stoke Brindy World's anger further.
"You won't kill anyone today, you are the one who will die here and now. Humph. You can scream as much as in the other world." With the odds stacked against him, it seemed that Brindy World's survival was in doubt. Whole Cake Island. One Piece events.
2 years later, the Roger Pirates accomplished the impossible and conquered the Grand Line.
Gold Roger became known as the Pirate King.
Shortly after, the Roger Pirates mysteriously vanished.
Then, another year passed.
News of the Pirate King's capture spread, shocking the entire world.
Roger was captured? Shiki was so shocked that he didn't want to believe it. "Our sources are reliable," the crew member responded with fear. "Liar. You think I'd believe that? You all know how strong he is, don't you?" Shiki immediately shot the leg of the person who brought the news.
"Chief, please calm down," his crew members tried to pacify his violent temper. "Don't go spouting off random crap like that," replied Shiki. "Chief, where are you going?" the crew members asked.
"Marine Ford. Intruder alert."
Marine HQ was under a devastating attack, and the sirens started ringing everywhere.
Boom!
Explosions were happening everywhere, and the bodies of dead and passed-out Marines were piled up like dumplings.
"The intruders are by the plaza in Marineford Bay." "How many are there?" "No way. It's just one. The enemy is the Golden Lion Shiki, and he's alone."
Standing on a mountain of dead Marines, Shiki spoke, "There's no way Roger could have been caught by trash like you." "I respected that man's strength," exclaimed Shiki.
"Admiral Sengoku." At that moment, Sengoku arrived and said, "Roger is the Pirate King.
In his battle with you, he emerged victorious."
"The Pirate King?
So what?" replied Shiki. He added, "If he had lent a hand, we could have ruled the world together.
We might have been enemies, but we were part of the same era. If he's here, then let me see him."
"If he's going to die, then I will be the one who kills him," exclaimed Shiki. "The execution will take place in 1 week in his hometown, the town of beginnings in East Blue, Log Town," said Sengoku calmly. At that moment, Garp also arrived. Roger's death should break the spirit of even the most formidable pirates.
Vice Admiral Garp, exclaimed a Marine. The legend of the Pirate King, Gold Roger, will end in East Blue, the weakest sea? Don't make me laugh. Shiki felt crazy after hearing that. Mama, mama. Ha ha ha. This is insane. Has Shiki gone mad after suffering a head injury?
He's standing alone against Sengoku and Garp, and even dared to attack Marineford and destroy many military installations. It's crazy, really crazy. Linlin was stunned by these scenes, which could only be described as madness. Even with my steel body, I wouldn't dare stand in front of Garp and Sengoku.
Doesn't he know his fate is sealed? Why doesn't he run away? Linlin wondered with amazement.
Mama, Shiki seems to have a lot of respect for Roger.
This attitude at least deserves respect, Perorin said Perispero as he licked his favorite candy. Respect? Ha! He's just paranoid.
He has suffered countless losses against Roger, yet he still wants to recruit him.
Doesn't he realize his weakness?
Even when he was part of my previous crew, he thought he was stronger than Newgate, despite being repeatedly beaten by him. Big Mom was the one who knew the truth about Shiki the most.
His battle against Sengoku and Garp caused the destruction of half of Marineford, without the intervention of Fleet Admiral Kong. That's an impressive record, Mama, isn't it? Katakuri asked his mother. That's the most he can do.
Look, he's being sent to Impel Down.
Mama, mama. Ha ha ha. Linlin laughed heartily. Flying Island, Merville.
Shiki's eyes widened, and he observed everything that had occurred in the manga so far with absolute amazement, without uttering a single word. From the absurd incidents of Edward to Roger's capture and his subsequent visit to Marineford for Roger.
Suddenly, Kaido's laughter interrupted his thoughts. Wororororo, he bellowed.
How does it feel, to witness yourself in the manga sacrificing your life to save your delectable enemy from the executioner's blade, the golden chicken, Shiki?
Kaido asked sarcastically. I do. Shiki exclaimed. Chapter 453.
The Execution of the Pirate King and the Beginning of the Great Pirates Era.
Part 1. Impel Down.
At the famous deep-sea prison, considered the second largest in the world after being surpassed by the central prison of the Hunter's Island, a new group of prisoners had been added. One particularly interesting new prisoner had been secretly imprisoned due to his affiliation with the Whitebeard pirates.
I want to get a promotion.
It's too easy for the world government to let you stay in such a luxurious suite here on the second level, Marshal D. Teach. A rookie prison guard named Hannibal stood in front of the young Teach's cell. Hannibal had a striking appearance resembling a mix between a devil and an Egyptian pharaoh. His brow bridge was shaped like horns, but despite his appearance, he was still human.
What do you want, Hannibal? Asked Teach with disdain. Don't look at me like that. I just want a promotion. I have something for you.
The 5 elders want you to have this, said Hannibal as he tossed a colorful hardcover book into the spacious cell. The moment Teach saw the title of the book, he burst out laughing.
One Piece, huh? Zihahaha. Thank them for me, I'll definitely enjoy reading it.
The third level of Impel Down. Inside one of the floor toilets, which hardly ever emptied and is filled with deadly poison, which makes it a place where no one but the warden dares to use it. Magellan was sitting in his usual spot, enjoying reading the events of the manga. Since the central prison had been introduced in the second poll, his workload had decreased, allowing him to have more free time. The central prison for hunters was detaining numerous pirates and criminals who were meant to be sent to his Impel Down.
This is the kind of fun life I want. Oh shit. Damn it, did he really manage to escape?
The legend of the unbreakable prison was shattered because of the Golden Lion.
Unbelievable, exclaimed Magellan.
Although Shiki's escape was only depicted in the manga and not in reality, it was not too different since it was believed that manga could predict the future. If Shiki is captured and sent to Impel Down in the future, it will be my responsibility to ensure he does not escape. thought Magellan, as sweat started to bead on his forehead. This was the golden lion they were talking about, and even though he had been turned into a golden chicken after the steering wheel incident, he still possessed the strength of a lion. "No problem, I will do it," declared Magellan. One Piece events. Its weakness makes it the perfect place. East blue is a symbol of peace, stated Garp as he removed his vice admiral's robe, ready for battle. He was the reason behind the East Sea's reputation as the weakest. The number of pirates he destroyed with his own hands was uncountable. "We won't allow you to interfere with the execution," declared Sengoku. The verbal argument ended, and the physical battle began. As a result, half of Marineford was destroyed, and the Golden Lion was thrown into Impel Down. Garp. Sengoku. The Golden Lion. Before reaching its conclusion, their battle destroyed half of Marineford. The Marineford appeared in the current context, it was almost entirely destroyed, with a massive battleship embedded in the Navy's main building. The Marines observing the fight were in a daze, questioning what had happened. "What is this?" asked one of the Marines. "Hey! Get the Vice Admiral away from here," shouted another. Thus, the pirate, Golden Lion, was imprisoned at Impel Down. The New World. The general atmosphere in Oro Jackson was very calm, but it was overshadowed by a strange silence. Most of the crew had tears in their eyes as they stared at the pages of the volume. From time to time, they looked toward their captain and his wife with eyes that bore a stamp of pathos. After a long silence, Rayleigh spoke up. "Sigh, I didn't know that the Golden Lion had this kind of soul. He sacrificed himself to prevent your execution, Roger." Upon hearing the voice, the heavy expressions on Roger's face lightened, and he regained his cheerful expression. "He's right. Even though we were enemies, we were from the same generation, and we shared the same title for many years after everything with him and Newgate." Roger smiled as he spoke. His only mistake was that he chose to recruit weak people and rely on a large number of pirates instead of quality, unlike Newgate and me. Here, he lost his advantage because, in terms of strength, he was enough to stand up to me. Anyway, I didn't expect that the new volume would contain such a big detail of my execution event, even you, Rouge, my son. Little Ace, too. Roger's expression shook again as he couldn't help but sigh while looking at the manga page again. 1 week later. In the town of Beginnings, under the bright sun, before the execution of the Pirate King, Roger's hockey-enhanced voice echoed everywhere, and everyone in Logtown heard it when he said, "If you want my wealth and treasure, let you have it. Look for it. I left it all at that place." After the Pirate King's death, it started raining, and some influential characters of the future appeared. Don Quixote da Flamingo was the first, followed by both Buggy and Shanks, who were crying exclusively for their captain's death. Then came Mihawk, Crocodile, Moria, and eventually even the Dragon, who started the path of revolution. The death of the Pirate King, Gold Roger, raised the curtain on the Great Pirate Era. The news spread quickly around the world. On a quiet spring island, a woman with yellow-orange hair appeared among the flowers, like an angel not hiding her beautiful features. Her fallen tears wet half of her face and cleansed many secrets. The people understood that the seas would get a lot rougher from that point on. "Rouge, it's your debut. What do you think?" Roger asked with eyes full of love. He hadn't expected to see such a scene in the manga. His wife looked like an angel. "There's no doubt about it, this is Batarilla," Rouge replied calmly. "Dear, for a moment, I felt very sad when I saw myself in the manga." No doubt, she feels very heavy sadness at this moment. Rouge's tears flowed uncontrollably. Roger hugged Rouge gently and whispered in her ear, "It's okay, I know. This small part of the events surrounding the execution of the Pirate King caused an unparalleled stir that swept the pirate world. Especially among the characters who appeared in this scene, seeing their younger selves in the manga and their reactions to the execution was great enthusiasm for them, particularly characters like Doflamingo and Moria. Chapter 454, The Execution of the Pirate King and the Beginning of the Great Pirates Era. Part 2. One Piece Events. On Batarilla Island, located in the South Blue, a scene unfolded that would be etched in the memories of those who witnessed it. Port Gas D.
Rouge, a woman of breathtaking beauty, appeared before the sea. She was visibly moved by the news of the Pirate King's death, so much so that tears streamed down her face. As the salty breeze whipped through her hair, Rouge stood in quiet contemplation. Her sorrowful expression revealed the depth of her emotions, and it was clear that she had a strong connection to the Pirate King. Perhaps she was a member of his crew, or maybe she had a personal relationship with him. Whatever the case may be, it was clear that the news had shaken her to her core. The sea, seemingly unperturbed by the woman's anguish, continued to ebb and flow. The sound of waves crashing against the shore served as a somber backdrop to Rouge's quiet morning. Sand Kingdom, Alabasta. A frightening era is at hand. While reading what was in the newspaper, the Alabasta King, Cobra, expressed his apprehension. His wife and Vivi's mother, Queen Titi, stood next to him with a tense expression, and Igaram also appeared next to them. The Judicial Island, Eni's lobby. They say more pirates will show up, Oimo, said the giant Kashai with a cheerful smile, upon hearing what the two naval officers were reading from the news. They won't attack us, though, responded Oimo sarcastically. The prehistoric island, Little Garden. The two giants Bragi and Dory appeared to be fighting once again, without any regard for their surroundings. This had become their routine by this point, and they were oblivious to any news that may have reached them. Long Ring Long Land Island. Tunjit, have you heard the big news? One of the members of the Tunjit tribe exclaimed. This same tribe will later abandon Tunjit after he gets stuck on bamboo stilts that touch his zipper. I'm going to set the world record for the tallest stilts someday. Tunjit paid no attention to the big news, just to set the record for the highest altitude in the world. Grand Line, at sea. Captain Cricket. Have you heard? Roger has died and left behind a massive treasure. This is incredible. The staff of the Cricket spoke excitedly about Roger's treasure. The person who had recently left the North Blue as a pirate responded, so there is still some romance left in the world. On one of the islands owned by the world government. Some of the children were undergoing intensive training, even though the sun had started to set. Justice must become stronger. It will become stronger, exclaimed the mentor who was training the children. They were the future members of CP9, led by Rob Lucci. On an island in the Grand Line. Someone with an ordinary fate with one of the protagonists of the story was born. As the sound of a newborn baby's cries filled the air, the midwife screamed in fear upon seeing the baby's face. How can this be? A cursed child has been born. The baby had spiral eyebrows and thick blonde hair that covered his left eye, giving him the appearance of a child drawn by a novice painter. It's the curse of the pirate era, she added. Island of Women, Amazon Lily. The Great Pirate Era? Asked Sandersonia, who was still a child, after hearing her older sister Hancock talk about it. Can we all become pirates? It means we have to become stronger before we can join a pirate crew, recalled the pirate empress, who was only 9 years old at the time. The underwater prison, Impel Down. Have you heard the news? Someone asked. They say the Pirate King is dead, leaving behind a massive treasure. Level 6. Amidst the chaos caused by the notorious pirates imprisoned there, voices could be heard. The age of pirates has begun. Let us out, right now. A new era has dawned. The seas of the new age belong to us, the pirates. In one of the cells, the Golden Lion remained unaccepting of Roger's death. Roger, how could you die? It's ridiculous. Those treasure-hunting, empty-headed pirates will be a nuisance on the seas. What new era? Pirates are the true rulers of the sea. Someday, I'll make them understand that. Despite his dire condition, with dried blood from his last fight a week ago still on his face, the Golden Lion remained resolute. South Blue, Batarilla Island. As they stepped inside the art store located in the middle of the picturesque town, a group of manga enthusiasts started to flip through the pages of their latest purchase. Suddenly, one of them exclaimed excitedly, HSS. Isn't this the west bank of our island? Upon recognizing the appearance of their beloved island in the manga for the first time. A young woman, who seemed to be familiar with the island's history, chimed in, oh my god. It's Miss Rouge for sure.
One of the other readers couldn't contain their excitement either. I didn't expect that our beautiful island would appear in the manga. Even though it's just a glimpse and the island's name is not revealed, it's still a fantastic moment for us. The group continued to discuss the manga, and as they turned the pages, they came across a scene that brought tears to Miss Rouge's eyes. Seeing Miss Rouge's tears breaks my heart. She must be feeling very sad for Roger, one of the readers remarked before being interrupted by another person who motioned for him to be quiet. Stop, man, the identity of Miss Rouge should not be revealed. There are a lot of mixed spies here, the mayor intervened, reminding them of the need for caution. Realizing his mistake, the person who knew little about the Roger pirates who frequented the island apologized. Oh, well, I'm sorry. Sky Island, Alabasta. King Cobra gazed lovingly at his wife, who cradled their small child in her arms, and complimented her. Honey, you look so adorable in the manga. Thrilled with her first official appearance in the manga, Queen TT responded, this is my first appearance if we don't count the photo or the shaded face in the flashback. Robsan finally decided to show me officially. Look, he even gave me an identification card with my name, identity as a queen, and age. Ha ha. That's pretty good. Dear, let me hug you again. Cobra couldn't help but fall deeper in love with TT as she embodied Vivi's future form perfectly, making him want to embrace her again. However, TT declined his offer, not wanting to disturb their sleeping baby. Not now, little Aman will wake up from sleep after he slept with great difficulty. TT hugged the blue-haired baby tighter and chose to get out of the way of this perverted husband. Ah, my little heart broke. Disappointed, Cobra went back to reading the manga. It seems that Roger-san's words really caused the great pirate era to break out. I hope it won't actually happen again. In fact, there is Sky Sword to hold the sky on our behalf if it falls, so it doesn't matter. The New World, at the sea. Four giants were sitting on a very large ship, which bore the emblem of the Hunters Guild. They were laughing with each other, clearly amused by something. Broggy exclaimed, Kababababa. The four of us have reappeared in the manga. Dori responded, Jayagagaga. The captain is very generous, he didn't even forget to show us, and we are fighting again. I wonder how many numbers that fight. Oimo was not as amused. Sai were still being tricked by the Navy in the manga. Look, we're still guarding that damn gate. He said angrily. Kashiai chimed in, after returning home, I will make sure to tell everyone from the clan how malicious those people from the Navy and the world government are. Someday, we will take revenge on them. No need to think too much, Oimo. Their ship was already headed towards the land of giants, Elbaf, where they belong. Paradise, Long Ring Long Land Island. Why are we abandoning everything we have here and moving to Jaya? Asked one of the members of the nomad tribe. He was struggling to understand why his tribe would want to leave the island that had been their home for centuries. The tribe leader responded, the world is changing rapidly and we need to keep up with it. We have become a laughingstock for outsiders who come here from time to time. They always ask us not to forget Tunjit and his bamboo stilts. We need to understand why Tunjit is so important to them. Another tribe member chimed in angrily, we must find out. We cannot continue to live in ignorance. The first member of the tribe asked, but why are we leaving without Tunjit? He could still see Tunjit and his white horse in the distance. The tribe leader explained, Tunjit has been acting strange lately, talking about mastering the world's tallest set. We have no time for his nonsense. He will catch up with us soon enough. Boom! Before the leader could finish his sentence, a loud explosion interrupted him. The ground shook violently, causing panic among the tribe members. What's going on? They cried out in fear. A massive crater had formed nearby. The meteor crater contained some lava and frozen ice, and within it, a tall man emerged. He was badly wounded and appeared to be a huge human. These bastards! I'll kill you, exclaimed Brindy World. Chapter 455, Prison Break. Thriller Bark Island. Despite the continuous efforts of carpenters and workers to complete the initial form of the renowned ship Thriller Bark, which made its first appearance in the manga, it seems that this long-term project will not come to an end anytime soon. In any case, Gecko Moria and his first crew member, Absalom, we're not in a hurry to enter the heart of the Grand Line.
Kishishishi. This is my second appearance. Moria exclaimed. Look at my handsome figure in this flashback, Absalom. Don't I look great? Kishishi. Moria was pleased with his younger self in the manga, who appeared in the arena under the execution platform after the Pirate King's execution. Yes, you look fantastic in your current form, Moria-sama. Absalom flattered. Kishishishi, I already know that. Let's keep reading the chapters. I want to see how the protagonist beats the damn Golden Lion.
Moria still harbors a deep grudge against the Golden Lion, who always ruins his moments whenever he posts something on the global forum.
North Blue, Lineal Nation.
At the entrance of the proud country, two large golden statues stood tall.
This nation has transformed entirely since the manga era.
The two statues proudly held hands, with big smiles on their faces. One of them had wings and long, robust hair similar to Uchiha Madara's, while the other had a friendly look with a strong physique. However, the most distinctive feature was the large chestnut on his head. These statues had become a symbol of true friendship that made people spontaneously smile. They were Noland and Calgara's statues. A child, around 14 or 15 years old, sat on the green grassy ground next to the statues, reading the new One Piece volume.
So there is still some romance left in the world.
The young Mont Blanc Cricket's face lit up with a big smile when he saw his last appearance in this interesting flashback.
Romance, huh? Cricket said. Is romance really the right word to describe the execution of the Pirate King or the mysterious treasure called One Piece? Oh, who is this poor child? Why does his face resemble the poster that was painted for Sanji? Puff.
Before Cricket could finish his reflections, he heard a noise behind him. His bodyguards, Sam and Ram, came to look for him.
Boss. President Harry-sama wants to see you right now, they said. The Calm Belt, Amazon Lily. This is the sacred land of the Amazonian women.
Only one man, Rob, is allowed to enter openly, while the rest of the men, Rayleigh, can only intrude secretly. The steel and powerful aircraft carrier stood next to the island like the Great Wall of China. Its appearance gave it a prestige that even the Sea Kings lying below found terrifying.
Yay! Our island has appeared. Although it's just a brief glimpse, said one of the Amazonians. This is just the island's debut.
I heard the official first appearance will be soon, replied another one.
These kids. They're Hancock-chan and her sisters.
Oh, my God, exclaimed another Amazonian.
It really is them. Why are they talking about joining the pirate crew? Do you see they're talking about the Kuja crew we disbanded years ago? Oh my God, this manga is confusing my thoughts. I don't understand anything anymore.
The Amazonian women felt happy after the appearance of their island, but soon their thoughts turned complicated.
Why did only the kid show up, specifically Hancock? Could she be a Shichibukai in the future, too?
This is impossible, Marlin-chan. Fufu. Shaki laughed sweetly after hearing what the sexy blonde store goddess, Marlin, said.
Why is that, Shaki-sama? Marlin spoke in a respectful tone.
Shaki was their empress 2 generations ago, before Gloriosa and the current empress, who is also considered OC, as well as a legendary hunter with a declared relationship with the Dark King Rayleigh, vice captain in Roger Pirates. The identity of this woman was simply terrifying. Well, perhaps Rob might bombard me, but I don't think Hancock would have become a Shichibukai in the manga. This is simply because she would have been sponsored for the position of Amazon Lily Empress if she hadn't been adopted by Rob, Shaki calmly explained. Although she was away from Amazon Lily before the manga appeared, she was the one responsible for sending Hancock and her sisters there in the first place. Even Hancock's future had been planned by Shaki. I see, that makes sense, responded Marlin, surprised. Oh my God, this little baby is Ace? So Garp-san. Suddenly, the attention of Shaki and the Marlin was drawn to the screams of another store goddess who resembled Nami. It was Dayton, also known as Dan. Sorbet Kingdom. Dragon-san, why did everyone's faces appear except mine? Is Rob planning something against me? Crocodile's expression distorted as he felt a bad feeling in his heart. He always had a bad feeling whenever he looked at the One Piece manga and Ivankov, but he didn't know why.
Why are you overthinking it?
Your back appearance gives your character more prestige and mystery, Crocoboy and Fufu.
Ivankov laughed in her feminine form with a sensual body. Damn you, bitch.
Who asked for your opinion? Exclaimed Crocodile.
And Fufufu, you're as cruel as ever, Crocoboy. Ivankov winked. Kuma remained silent. Stop messing around. Let's continue reading the chapters calmly.
These chapters contain more than meets the eye, fools, said Dragon, who had had enough of the nonsense and chose to intervene immediately.
One Piece events. And then, after another 2 years,
the legend of the Great Prison crumbled. The sirens blared at Impel Down, which was currently in chaos.
Warden. I have a report. Golden Lion Shiki has escaped. He's still somewhere inside the prison.
Assistant Warden Magellan submitted his report.
What happened to his Kairoseki shackles? Did they come loose? Asked the warden.
No, they're still locked, replied Magellan.
He added, he cut off both of his feet. Find him, no matter what it takes. We cannot allow someone like him to escape. Jahahaha.
Shiki, who had severed both of his feet, laughed as he found the person he was looking for, a senior officer at Impel Down named Hannibal.
Shiki took a puff of his cigar, which he hadn't smoked in 2 years, before asking, do you know of my 2 swords? They're both named Blades, Autu and Kagurashi.
Hannibal replied with a sweaty face.
I want a promotion. Ah, I meant to say. Shiki.
Shiki's legs were bleeding heavily, but he didn't flinch.
It's too bad for you, but I'm leaving now. I don't need my legs. You can keep them.
An evil smile appeared on his face. Thanks for taking care of me these past 2 years.
Hannibal panicked. Assistant Warden Magellan. I found Shiki. Please help me. Aha, he shouted as Shiki attacked him.
Impel Down's first ever breakout, Chief of the Pirate Armada, Golden Lion Shiki. This was the headline of the newspapers the next day that shook the pirate world. And then, the pirate known as Golden Lion, whose fangs had been dulled once before, broke free from his cage, and was once again free to roam the seas. After being released from prison, Shiki had his swords implanted in his severed legs to use them as new legs.
Ahaha, alright, now I've got legs again. Jahahaha. Shiki laughed wickedly after succeeding in his quest. Flying Island, Merville. Kaido exclaimed, you're crazy. Absolutely crazy. He looked at Shiki in amazement and asked, seriously, do you think that using swords can replace your legs? The manga upset Kaido's understanding of just how insane Shiki really was. Jahahaha. Do they think they can detain me as they please?
I am the Golden Lion, exclaimed Shiki.
The era of Roger in the manga is over, but beware, Kaido-yo, my era has begun. Jahahaha. Shiki laughed insanely. He loved seeing this ending.
After all, this was what he expected of himself. He wouldn't rest until he had revenge. Kaido and King exchanged glances that conveyed their mutual understanding. This guy isn't just crazy, he's also a big dreamer, they both thought.
Chapter 456, a new character template from the ninja world. The new world, Hunter's Island. How has your progress been lately?
Rob asked with a smile, looking at the 19-year-old.
The young man exuded excitement and great determination to become stronger, reminding Rob of Zoro. Everyone here is taking good care of me.
I have officially passed the hunter's test and am now an official C-rank hunter.
The way to raise my strength is already clear. As long as I climb the ranks, I will become stronger, Roronoa Erasure replied with a smile. That's great news.
When the missions of both Mihawk and Isho and Wano country are over, I will recommend they train you in sword skills.
You can continue what you were doing.
I have something to do now, so I'm leaving, Rob said.
Thank you for everything you have done for me, Guildmaster.
Erasure said, proud and happy that the Guildmaster was willing to make an effort for him.
After all, this was the most powerful guild master in the world. It's okay. You can use the art store to move to Shimatsuki town anytime you want. Since you were recently married, traveling using the Skygate port will also be smooth, but the nearest skyport in the East Blue is in Lode Town, Rob said, giving Erishur the go-ahead. After all, hunters below B rank had no right to use the teleportation system in the art store. Upon hearing this, Erishur became even more excited and kept thanking Rob over and over again without stopping. Before I forget, I spoke with our esteemed doctor, Dr. Kureha, about your mother's condition. The next time you return to East Blue, Dr. Kureha and her medical team will accompany you. You can be assured that your mother will recover no matter how severe her condition is, said Rob as he turned and headed towards the art store at Ringland. Erishur was frozen in shock at the recent news. He had not expected it at all, and his mother's illness had always been a sensitive topic that made him afraid of losing her. His eyes began to moisten, and without realizing it, he was shedding tears of joy. Thank you. Upon entering the teleportation room at the art store, Rob's smile vanished, and his expression turned indifferent. This was because he was feeling extremely angry at the moment. One of his subordinates, who had worked tirelessly to recruit him, was currently being beaten to death by 3 admirals. It was no wonder he was angry. Wait for me, don't die before I get there, Rob said. The teleportation chamber began to glow with white light, and then Rob's body disappeared as if it had never been there. Paradise, Jaya Island. Rob exited his private department, surprising the few store goddesses who were assigned to that particular store. The store goddesses, who hadn't seen their boss for a long time, were thrilled to see him and immediately greeted him. Some of the women among them had been saved from death and enslavement by Rob, so he was like a hero to them. Rob signaled with a gentle smile for them to get back to work before leaving the art store. His appearance drew the attention of the townspeople, and even the notorious pirates became docile like mice in the presence of a cat. After all, he was the big boss, the Sky Sword in flesh and blood. For a few minutes, the readers found it hard to focus on their manga as Rob's oppressive aura made it hard to concentrate. Rob transformed into a stream of lightning and headed towards the location indicated by the almost burned life card. This was the life card of the legendary hunter number 1, who had joined Rob's guild after sneaking into the depths of Impel Down and freeing him from an ice prison and taming him. Rob couldn't let the world government kill him so easily. It would be a big slap in his face. The lightning sparks disappeared on the horizon as he headed towards Long Ring Long Land Island. Long Ring Long Land Island. After a minute of lightning-fast travel, Rob's eyes fell upon a strangely long island, but he couldn't help but notice the destruction that had befallen it. The island was covered in lava, frozen sea, and damaged land as if it had been bombarded with hundreds of laser beams. Amidst the apocalyptic-like destruction, Rob spotted the body of legendary hunter number 1, but none of the 3 admirals were anywhere to be seen. In just 1 hour, they managed to deliver you to the threshold of death, Worldu. Rob muttered softly to the dying man. When he received no response, he whispered, "Change the template." As soon as he said that, the air around him changed to softness, his hair turned yellow, and a jewel-like seal appeared on his forehead. He had transformed into a male version of Tsunade Senju. When he had chosen a character template from the finished first part of the Naruto anime previously, he had been lucky enough to pull out the Tsunade character template, which had automatically changed to a male template to match his gender. Since it is a female template, he could have excused it to one of his women because of the feature that he opened in the system level that was upgraded not so long ago, but since it is the first female template he got, he preferred to try its effects himself first before starting to transfer the female templates to other people. Rob had now turned into a Hokage-level ninja, specifically a medical ninja. Memories of the various abilities that Tsunade had throughout her long life flowed into his mind smoothly, and he could control this template just as smoothly as he could control the Ulquiorra template. With his emerald green eyes shining, he began to use medical ninjutsu, and the chakras in his body rose smoothly. As the saint of medicine in the ninja world, Tsunade's control of chakra was very advanced, and Rob, who had inherited everything from her, did not find it difficult to perform an unfamiliar technique with unfamiliar energy perfectly for the first time. Rob's hand shone with an emerald green light, and he could see all the points from which Brindy World's life was leaking in which required urgent recovery.
He put his hand on Brindy World's chest, treating him for a while, but the deadly hole in his chest did not seem to shrink in any way. It seems that he was struck by the fist of the magma dog, similar to what happened to Whitebeard during the Summit War. Even with Tsunade's extensive medical knowledge, Rob couldn't find a way to save Brindy World's life due to the wounds inflicted on him by the three admirals. These wounds could not be cured with ordinary medical ninjutsu. I need to get him to the art store before his condition worsens. With that thought, he snapped his fingers, and a new art store materialized out of thin air amidst the ruined terrain. Chapter 457, Shanks abducts Yasop from his spouse. One Piece events. Fusha Village. Sengoku here, came the solemn voice from the other side of the Den Mushi. Sorry to interrupt your vacation, Garp, but it's about the Golden Lion. Yeah, I heard. We'd better be careful, replied Garp. He added, he's not the kind of man who'd want to make peace. Still, I doubt he'll attack us right away. He's a pretty careful guy, after all. Where did Garp go, Makino? Asked the mayor, whoop slap. Makino, who was still a child and enjoyed playing with a ball like all children her age, pointed to the mountains behind Fusha Village. He said he was going to the mountain. A baby boy appeared, crawling quickly on a wooden floor and making happy sounds. You little brat, don't wander off on your own, scolded the nanny. Wait, Ace. Ace-chan. It's me, Grandpa Garp. Garp suddenly appeared. When Baby Ace saw him, he felt happy and stopped crawling near him. Garp? Garp-san. So you're back? The fat woman, whose face had not yet appeared, exclaimed. Hey, replied Garp. Shimatsuki Village. A newborn baby girl appeared on her mother's lap. I wanted our child to inherit the dojo. But if it's a girl, Kushiru said with a tone of helplessness. It'll be all right, his wife Tsuna replied. You'll become strong, won't you, Kuina? Marine Ford. Garp. Sengoku. Garp and Sengoku exchanged looks while Tsuru, Zephyr, and the new guest, Kong, observed them. BFT. Wahahaha. After a while, Garp burst out laughing. Ha 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 ha. That bastard Shiki really ran away. What a troublemaking rat, even after taking a lot of beating from both of us he still wants more, Sengoku joined in. However, Sengoku suddenly grew tense and started sweating when he saw where Garp had gone in the manga. My grandson Ace is so cute as a baby. I wonder when I'm going to get such a wonderful grandson. Wait, who is this fat woman taking care of Ace-chan? Garp exclaimed. Stop talking nonsense with a straight face, Garp. Everyone knows that Ace is not your biological grandson. The real question now is who is Ace's father? Maybe his mother is that beautiful woman who cried after receiving the news of Roger's death. Doesn't that mean? Kong trailed off. Kong-san, Ace is my grandson in the manga. You can't mix fantasy with reality. It's kind of crazy, Garp said nonchalantly. Keep up your nonsense. Everything will be revealed in the end. Anyway, it's been proven that the manga accurately describes the truth of the characters. For example, your refusal to promotion at the beginning of the volume is something that you did and are still doing now, Kong said. The world government's dissatisfaction with you only increases with time. You need to change your behavior, Garp. We don't want to lose our Navy hero. But if necessary, there's no way but to erase you from history, you and your family, Kong continued sternly. The atmosphere in the Admiral of the Fleet's room grew heavy as soon as Kong finished speaking. But Garp remained unfazed. Wahahaha. I really want to see how the world government plans to erase me and my family from history, Garp said, still indifferent. He was not afraid of anyone. If everything went according to the manga, he would protect and raise Ace, whom in his heart he considered his precious grandson. At the same time at Shimatsuki town. Oh my goodness, look at that, Tsuna. It's your debut in the manga, exclaimed Kushiru. It's also our family's first appearance. Look at how adorable our little Kuina is. I wish I could give birth to her right away.
Suna was thrilled as she admired the warm family scene. Ah! Me too. Kusharu, you jerk. Even as a baby, you're still looking down on little Kuina just because she's a girl. What kind of parents are you? Suddenly, a terrifying roar came from the other side of the dojo. Kozaburo had a terrifying expression on his face as he searched for his wretched son. Beware what?
I'll tear you limb from limb today, he exclaimed again.
Oh, Suna-chan, this is bad.
Let's leave tonight and avoid this place until the old man calms down.
Well. Suna nodded, and they both began to sneak away from the house. Syrup Village. Yasop wondered aloud as he saw a ship that had stopped on the horizon. What's that? A traveler's ship? That's a rare sight. After some time, a person arrived with a small boat.
It turned out that he was the owner of the ship that Yasop had just seen. I heard rumors of a man named Yasop, a young man with a straw hat spoke.
Yasop was curious and replied with a questioning tone, I'm Shanks.
A pirate said Shanks with a smile. Mary, the official of the Kaya Palace, was dreaming of building a ship that resembled him in shape and name inside a room illuminated by dim candlelight.
Going Mary. Someday, I'd like to build a ship like this. At a marine base in East Blue. They say that Shiki escaped from prison. A marine replied after Belmir asked him about the content of the newspaper.
Belmir responded confidently while holding her rifle, if he comes to East Blue, I'll take him down.
Ha, we'll be counting on you, Belmir, said a marine. Syrup Town. Inside the art store.
So, this was the beginning of your journey with Shanks. It seems like you were the first crew member, Yasop, commented Ben Beckman with a smile.
This is really cool.
Just because he heard some rumors, Captain Shanks came to look for me, I realized he really is a wonderful man, replied Yasop with pride. He was proud of himself for being sought out personally by a future emperor. Why is your wife suddenly upset? Asked Beckman after noticing Banshina's glances at them. An unknown pirate came and kidnapped her husband with simple words like you will be free on my ship.
Why wouldn't she be upset?
If she had the power, she would have killed both of us. But I'm not going to complain, and I don't think Captain Shanks would either, said Yasop.
Hearing this, Beckman burst out laughing. Ha 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 ha. You're definitely right. Chapter 458, Opening of the famous Baratai restaurant. One Piece events. Grand Line, at the sea. Zeph, who was still a pirate at the time, read the content of the newspaper and remarked, "The Golden Lion, huh?" One of his crew members chimed in, "Captain Zeph. I hear they call him the Flying Pirate." Drum Kingdom. The father exclaimed, "My kid's blowing bubbles," upon seeing the worsening condition of his sick child. Hiralik ran after realizing his failure and exclaimed, "Damn it! Another failure." Fortunately, Koreha arrived to treat the boy's illness. Upon seeing the situation, she commented that Hiralik, he did it again? During another scene, Dalton asked, "Your Majesty, don't you think you're spoiling Wapple-sama a bit too much?" King Maypal replied, "Maybe you're right. I'm worried too." West Blue. Nico Robin is in this country, someone stated. And another person added, "She's just a kid, but apparently her bounty is 79 million berries." Upon hearing this, the little girl Nico Robin hid in the dark side of the street. East Blue, Rare Animals Island. Gaiman exclaimed, "What the? I'm stuck. I can't get out," after finding himself trapped inside an empty treasure chest. He added, "How can this be? It's a miraculous fit." In the East Blue. In the harbor of one of the islands in the Kanomi archipelago, there is a town called Kokuyashi, which is also known as Nami no Jiko Island. A large ship has stopped here to rest, as it is on its way to a remote sea area in the East Blue called the Sambas region. The ship had set off from Dawn Island several days earlier. The ship is oval-shaped, with normal masts but has a fish as its figurehead. This ship is the famous ocean-going restaurant, Baratai. Captain Zeph, we have arrived in Kokuyashi. The nearest island has an art store,
and we can finally enjoy the new volume that has already been launched. We can also announce the beginning of our project as the owners of the world-famous Baratai restaurant. Patty, Zeph's assistant and the head pastry chef at his restaurant, shouted. "Oh, have we finally arrived?" the young Zeph exclaimed. "Let's settle down here for a while," he declared. Yes, the pirates, who are now cooks, shouted happily. Inside the art store, residents of the town and the neighboring islands of the archipelago glanced curiously at them from time to time. After all, who wouldn't recognize the famous Baratai crew? They were a part of the events of the manga, after all. "We appeared in the manga again, huh?" Zeph was amazed when he saw himself in the first chapters of the events. He didn't even expect that the new volume would start with a flashback, reviewing a lot of things 20 years earlier than the current story context, with him appearing in it as a pirate. The manga reminds us of our former identity that we abandoned just a few days ago. "What should we do, Captain?" asked Karn, Zeph's other assistant and the master of meat at his restaurant. "We are not pirates anymore, we are cooks now. The manga has already taken care of cleaning up our identity many years ago. Even the world government and the navy no longer consider us pirates," Zeph answered calmly. Then he continued, "Let's keep reading the chapters. I want to see this Shiki plan. Drum Kingdom. Ahem, it seems that little Wapple has been causing trouble for you since he was a child, huh?" The beautiful Queen Carla laughed while commenting on the events of the manga. "Sigh, Dalton seems to have a headache because of him." "Well, I'm going to intensify the child's upbringing lessons again," King Maypal declared. "What are you going to intensify, Papa?" Suddenly, the voice of a purple-haired child came. The child looked similar to his father, it was Wapple. "Have you really woken up from your sleep, my little child? Come to Mama." No matter what she saw about him in the manga, the beautiful queen still loved her child and pampered him as a loving mother should. Inside the art store on Drum Island, 3 people were seated at a table. Rob mentioned an urgent situation on his end. "What do you think, kid? Is your mother's situation more urgent?" Koreha asked the young man who seemed to have a demeanor similar to Zoro. "No, let's go to Mr. Rob first. My mother has been accustomed to her illness for a long time, and she can endure it a little longer," Erishur replied firmly. "Is the situation that bad, Koreha?" Hirulek asked curiously. He said that the number 1 hunter in the rating has been targeted for assassination by the 3 admirals of the Navy and is in critical condition. "We're discussing it right now," Koreha replied. "Hiss, this is big news, oh. This is a new appearance in the manga for us." Hirulek's eyes widened, remembering himself running away from a sick kid's house in the manga after messing it up. "Ah, sorry. I got a little carried away. We need to go and save Mr. Worldu," Hirulek said, reproaching himself. Not us, won't go. Just stay here and don't mess things up again like in the manga, humph. And you, kid, come with me. You'll accompany me to Long Ring Long Land with the medical team for a while, Koreha said, pointing at Erishur before standing up and heading toward the personal section of the art store. Ohara. Ha ha ha. I appeared in the manga again, and dear Rob gave me more screen time. I even declared firmly that I would be the one to stop the Golden Lion. Belmere laughed enthusiastically as she saw herself in the manga once more. By the way, where did dear Rob go? He seemed in a hurry earlier, as if there was a problem that required his presence. Belmere shifted her focus from the manga page to Alvia. Alvia replied, he said that the Navy is testing his patience again. Don't forget that we are still in a long-term war with them. Maybe they did something that angered my dear a lot this time. Alvia's eyelids suddenly trembled when she saw a familiar scene in the manga and felt a sharp drop in her spirits. Our Robin again, my little one is still suffering in the manga. Alvia saw the scene of Robin hiding in a dark and cold street in the manga, which caused a bitter feeling in her heart again. She's little Robin. These bastards want to catch her because of the 79 million berry bounty. I've always imagined, is this what my daughter's fate would be like without her father alive? Just thinking about life without Rob and its consequences, Alvia couldn't help but shudder, as did the other Rob women who heard her talk.
Lodetown Island. This nightmare again. Haven't I already quit piracy? Why remind me of my gloomy fate again, huh?
I swear I won't even get close to the sea surrounding the island of rare animals, even if they kill me. I will never look for treasure chests again. I will never be stuck in a treasure chest in this life. It turns out that the young man who was shouting like a crazy person inside the art store is the famous treasure box man, Gaiman, who saw a scene of himself trapped in a treasure chest in the manga. The laughter of many customers and readers spread after seeing Gaiman's frenzy, who seemed to tremble with fear every time he remembered his miserable fate.
Chapter 459, What About the Sea Train? One Piece Events. Water 7. How's the sea train coming along? Asked Kokoro. Ta ha ha ha. It's coming steady. Tom replied with a laugh.
I helped him, so it'll be all right, add Frankie.
This kid can't make anything but weapons. Iceberg objected. Twin Cape. Buoy.
A huge whale roar sounded in front of the Grand Line entrance.
It's useless, Laboon. I got on Roger's ship and made sure. The Rumbar pirates are.
Crocus felt sorry to convey such news to the poor whale, but he had to.
Florian Triangle. On a ghost ship. We're going to deliver Bink's brew. A skeleton sang slowly.
Suddenly he stopped singing and used his bony body to form a right angle with the crumbling ship.
42 degrees. It's so difficult. 42 degrees is really hard. Oh, I farted. Yahohoho.
There is no doubt that Brooks' life was difficult.
Sabaody Archipelago. I'm here, Shaki. A little octopus fishman appeared from the sea. Ara Hacken. Welcome. Shaki replied with a gentle smile. Is Rayleigh here? Asked Hacken. He's inside. Want some juice?
Shaki seemed very considerate of this little fishman a lot.
Sure, replied Hacken. As soon as he entered the bar, little Hacken shouted, Rayleigh. Rayleigh? Rayleigh was reading the newspaper events saying. So you made it out, Shiki?
Still, what do you plan to do now, after all this time? Said Rayleigh.
Paradise, Water 7. The manga has brought back memories of the great events of the Water 7 arc.
We really need Tom and his apprentices to return to this place, commented one of the residents of the Water City. Despite the arrival of the art store, the skyport, and the mystical barrier that protects us from Aqua Laguna, I still wish for Iceberg San to come back and be our mayor, added another civilian.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Nobody deserves to be the mayor of our city except Iceberg San, said another person.
Even though having someone like Frankie and his gang brings a lot of energy to the city, I don't care if he's a pervert who likes to wear only underwear or not, a young woman told her friends this time.
Ha ha. Seriously? Who would have an issue with Frankie because of that? I love him just the way he is.
I can't even picture Frankie in regular clothes, her friend replied, laughing.
Putting that aside, I really want to see the sea train and ride on it.
How amazing would it be if we could travel to all the islands in the world by sea train, a young man who was previously fascinated by the story behind the sea train said, his eyes shining with excitement.
Fishman Island.
Thousands of miles away from Water 7, at the bottom of the sea, the kingdom of the nymphs and fishmen was illuminated by sunlight filtering through the roots of a giant mangrove tree, creating a beautiful natural painting. In this stunning world, which was once unsafe for its inhabitants, security has been provided ever since the art store arrived here. Prior to its arrival, pirates and slave traders used to do as they pleased here, and it was a dark time for fishmen and mermaids. However, with the arrival of the art store, even the world government did not dare to be too cruel to Fishman Island, let alone ordinary pirates and little slave traders. In such an environment, Tom found great psychological comfort that enabled him to reach his maximum creative potential, along with his two apprentices, Frankie and Iceberg. The improved sea train project was progressing smoothly, and it would be completed in just a few more years. It had only been 3 months since it started being manufactured. Inside the art store, the general mood of the readers was incredibly cheerful.
Ta ha ha ha.
That's me, that's Kokoro, Yokozuna as well, and Iceberg and Frankie too. Our family has appeared in the manga again.
Isn't that cool? Tom laughed. The manga reminded us of the real Kokoro-san.
We were about to forget her. Ouch. That hurts.
Why did you hit me, Kokoro-san? This is my true form, little villain.
Kokoro replied coldly. It doesn't matter which world it was, a woman's shape remained her weak point.
Teacher, the manga once again reminds us of the progress of the sea train. Do we need to redouble our efforts? Iceberg asked.
We are already working at full speed.
If we change anything, we will make mistakes, Tom replied. Haken. You've been back in the manga again, but this time as a child.
Seriously? You even went to look for humans of your own free will. Wait, that's Rayleigh.
Arlon's eyes widened after seeing the person Haken was looking for in the manga. The rest of the fishmen looked at Haken with envy.
It turned out that Haken was acquainted with the vice captain of the Pirate King in the manga.
After all, Rayleigh appeared in the manga for the first time since the Orangetown arc in East Blue in the Buggy flashback. Ohara.
In one corner of the art store, a person with afro hair sat with a small whale perched on his shoulder like a cute pet, making whistling sounds from time to time.
Yah-ho ho ho. Look, we're in the manga again, Laboon. Brooke exclaimed excitedly when he saw the scene of Laboon and Crocus, followed by his appearance. What? Excuse me, but I don't fart every day. This manga is trying to discredit me,
Brooke said, sweating as he noticed people glancing at him after his embarrassing scene of outdoor farting.
At Amazon Lily. Is this the Sabaody archipelago? Oh my god, that's me. Shaki exclaimed as she saw herself appearing in the manga, even with an ID card under her face. Fu haha.
I didn't expect my debut to be in the flashback 20 years earlier than the storyline, Shaki added, chuckling.
Haken? He's a fishman kid, so cute, he's looking for Rayleigh. Rayleigh? Seriously?
Shaki's eyes widened as she saw Rayleigh, who was inside her bar in the manga reading a newspaper.
It's really Ray-san. We'll end up together in this story. Shaki blushed for some reason.
However, she soon regained her composure as the leader of the store goddesses, noticing the glances of the Amazonian women and the rest of the store goddesses towards her. Back at Oro Jackson in the New World, the atmosphere was a bit strange. So it turns out that you were planning to settle in the Sabaody archipelago after my execution. It seems Shaki has completely stolen your heart, wahaha.
Roger laughed. So what, Roger? This is better than wandering at sea without a goal. I would have done it anyway.
After all, Shaki is a wonderful woman, Rayleigh smiled. I want to find a beautiful woman to quit piracy because of her too, Gabun said, his eyes welling up.
Don't be sad, Gabun-san.
You'll find her in the future, consoled Shanks.
Chapter 460, the 20-year plan of the Golden Lion is about to begin. One Piece events. At Moby Dick in the New World.
How's the sea without Roger? Asked Shiki. The wall that blocked our way is now gone.
It seems like this is your era, Whitebeard.
The still young Whitebeard sat at his seat drinking a bottle of sake in the company of Shiki, who looked unusually energetic. If you've come here just to spout a load of crap, then I'm going to send you to the bottom of the sea, Golden Lion, replied Whitebeard.
Jahahaha. Good to see you're still the same old annoying geezer, laughed Shiki.
I'm planning to go into hiding for a while, and then I'll show this lukewarm era the true terror of pirates, Shiki announced.
Whitebeard got upset. You've got some new scheme going on? This was not new. This is the Golden Lion he knows. Cunning, insidious, scheming, and spiteful, that's how it was and still is. Flying Island Merville. In the Grand Line, on the island that reaches into the clouds, Merville. Dr. Indigo, is your research complete?
There is no doubt that the meeting of Whitebeard and the Golden Lion has passed some time, as Shiki has already returned to his stronghold.
I've made a discovery. It seems this island's balance is maintained by several types of flora. And these plants don't grow down on the surface, replied Dr. Indigo. Many monsters mutated from smaller animals appeared on the island. Just cut to the chase, Indigo.
How many years will it take to fulfill my plan? Asked Shiki.
Well, let's see. 10. 15. No, we can't do it any sooner than 20 years, replied Indigo. All right. I see. The plan will commence in 20 years.
I will show the world a living hell, exclaimed Shiki. Then, 20 years passed.
I thought Shiki was sad about my death. What about his visit to Newgate? Roger frowned when he saw the scene of the meeting between Whitebeard and Golden Lion.
I think he's going to announce his next move to Whitebeard, probably because he's the only person he believes deserves to know at the moment, commented Rayleigh.
Still, what the hell is Shiki up to? Gabon wondered.
Just wait, we'll find out soon.
That bastard's plans are a bit troublesome, but I wonder how Luffy will be able to defeat the plans of the Golden Lion after 20 years later? Roger said.
Dear, you don't have to worry about the Golden Lion. After all, he will eventually lose miserably. Anyway, I liked his move to attack the Navy headquarters for you, Rouge said with a smile as she massaged Roger's shoulders, who was enjoying it.
Wahaha, he's just a fool.
I wonder what his reaction will be when he finds out that I turned myself in and wasn't arrested. Roger laughed euphorically as Rouge's massage relaxed him.
He'll feel like he ate shit, haha.
Anyway, I wonder how Shaki-chan would react to her manga debut. Rayleigh's thoughts wandered elsewhere at the moment. Whitebeard is as decisive as usual.
Even Shiki doesn't dare to go too far when talking to him. It's not like that, Buggy.
Shiki lost at least half of his strength by losing both legs, in addition to getting some head damage from the steering wheel accident. If he still had his full strength, he wouldn't be speaking so carefully with Newgate. You know how strong he really is, Roger interrupted him.
Oh, maybe so. The New World, Sphinx Island. Gorararara. Inside the newly opened art store, Whitebeard's laughter suddenly resounded. He's Oyaji again, this time at the height of his youth. Terrific!
Marco exclaimed, excited to see his pop's majestic appearance in the manga once again.
Look how regal our pop looks. With just one threat, the Golden Lion was intimidated. Jozu remarked. The Golden Lion came to say goodbye to me. This is probably our last meeting in the manga, Whitebeard concluded, after laughing for a short while. He then asked the beautiful woman sitting on his lap, would you also like to know what Shiki is planning, dear Stussy?
All I want to know is what you would like to have for dinner, dear, Stussy replied with a smile. It's worth noting that this is the real 51-year-old Stussy. Since her relationship with their pop became public, she has officially become the mother of all the sons of Whitebeard.
They now call her Miss Buchan. Gorararara. That's even better. Let me think about it. After all, everything you cook is delicious. Marine Ford. This is Shiki's flying island, Merville. Seriously, what is he planning to do? Sengoku wondered. What can a sick lion do?
No need to worry too much, Sengoku, interrupted Garp, who was still voraciously devouring his rice crackers.
Stop spouting nonsense, Garp.
Look at the size of these monsters this bastard is raising.
What does he want to use them for?
What kind of plans take 20 years to start? Shouted Kong. Zephyr was still silent.
I'm also worried. After all, this is the Golden Lion we're talking about. If he goes big and we can't repel him in the manga, the rest of our reputation will go down the drain. What do you think, Sengoku? Suru commented. You're right, Suru-chan. This can't happen.
I will call the 5 elders to find out the situation with Kuzan and the others and bring up this topic for discussion with them, Sengoku said.
Flying Island Merville. Jahahaha.
The evil laughter of Golden Lion Shiki resounded throughout the island. But soon the laughter turned into loud curses.
Damn you. No. Fuck you. Fuck you. Sky Sword, Rodius D. Arab. Why the hell are you doing this? Do you want to reveal my precious schemes to the world? I haven't even perfected the planning yet, exclaimed Shiki. A bitter feeling filled his heart after realizing that the precious card in his hand, the plant of evolution, IQ, that he had discovered long ago on his island might become public knowledge after this volume. How unfortunate, Warororo, even Kaido felt somewhat pity for his useless ally. Do you know what my dream is, Shiki? Suddenly Kaido asked. To get hundreds of Zoan-type devil fruits since you dream of creating a crew full of beasts, right? Shiki replied. Very soon, but that's not all. I dream of gaining access to technology that will enable me to make my own Zoan devil fruits. The plant on this island may be the key to reaching that ideal way, Kaido said. That wraps up this part of What If Becoming a Mangaka in One Piece World. Thanks so much for listening. As always, new parts drop every 4 days, so be sure to stay tuned. Also check out my Patreon channel for early releases of all the series, where you can find all the series released one day ahead of YouTube. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and please consider supporting the original author as well. See you in the next one.